Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I talked about the physical extremes of ADHD boom and bust cycle. But today, I want to talk to you about an emotional and social extreme that is much harder to see and honestly a lot harder to admit. Recently, I was having a discussion with someone about how much I genuinely do not like talking on the phone. I don't like making small talk, and I don't like listening to people go on about things that are just uninteresting to me. During the conversation, they brought up someone else close to me who does the exact same thing. How they get incredibly frustrated or act blunt or abrasive when people say irrelevant or obvious things just to fill silence. The person said to me, "Well, that's just communication." And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I used to be just like that. The only difference is I've had more years to learn how to mask it and hide it from the world. I think this is so important to talk about openly because when a neurodivergent person pulls away from a conversation, checks out or snaps, the outside world immediately assumes they're being intentionally rude, arrogant or self-centered, even disrespectful. But it's not that at all. The truth is, it is genuinely, physically hard for our brains to exist in that space. There is actual science behind why small talk hurts the ADHD brain. A neurotypical brain has a built-in chemical filter in the prefrontal cortex. When they walk into a room, their brain automatically filters out the background noise, the obvious facts, and the irrelevant details. They can comfortably slide into autopilot and chat about anything, and it doesn't cost them energy. But an ADHD brain lacks that automatic filter. We have a deficiency in dopamine, which means our brains have to manually process everything at once. The background noise, the speaker's tone, their facial expressions, and every single slow, predictable word. Because there is no dopamine reward in small talk, our brain views this massive energy drain as an actual threat. It can literally trigger a low-grade fight or flight response. When you are undiagnosed, you don't understand the why behind your own brain, and it's a really difficult place to be. You don't understand why you're so impatient, and you just end up feeling like a defective, bad person. You don't mean to snap. You don't mean to get frustrated at the small remarks people make, but you do. So you learn to mask. You force a fake smile, you nod, and you swallow down the mounting irritation. But the mask takes a massive invisible toll on your life. You spend so much battery power performing for strangers that by the time you get home, you have absolutely nothing left for the people that you actually love. Before I was diagnosed, I didn't even understand what masking was. I didn't realise that I had unintentionally forced myself to learn it just to avoid people thinking badly of me. Instead, I just thought I was antisocial. I thought I lacked the basic emotional regulation needed to handle even the silliest irritations when people made obvious comments. Back then, I was completely unaware that they were only trying to start conversations because that is the normal thing people do to connect. But for me, it didn't feel like a connection. I often found myself wishing people just wouldn't talk to me at all because I felt entirely powerless to control my own internal reactions. But looking back with clarity of diagnosis, I now know that I wasn't being antisocial or disrespectful. It was pure cognitive overload. My brain is constantly so busy, so full, so deeply focused on my internal thoughts that when someone tries to make an unexpected small talk, it forces my brain to slam on the brakes. Suddenly, it has to process what they're saying, figure out why, and calculate exactly how to respond. And under that weight, the system just shut down. It triggered that fight or flight response that usually ended up with me showing my annoyance, simply because my brain couldn't find a better way to respond in that moment. This happens a lot less for me now. because I have worked so incredibly hard on my emotional regulation. But truth be told, it still causes me to get easily frustrated when my mind is busy focusing on something else. Whether that's reading, writing, driving, or any other heavy cognitive process. Living with a neurodivergent brain, especially an undiagnosed one, makes navigating relationships so incredibly difficult. Because the world sees a behaviour, but they don't see the overload underneath. This connection between the exhaustion of masking and how we manage our feelings is a massive piece of the puzzle. And that's why in my next video, I want to dive much deeper into this exact intersection. ADHD, masking, and emotional dysregulation. We'll talk about why our emotions hit so hard and how trying to mask them eventually leads to a complete emotional crash. Thank you so much for sitting with me today. I hope this resonated with you. And if you ever felt that instant flash of frustration during small talk, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please hit that like button and subscribe to follow along with my neurodivergent solo parenting life. Take care of your energy, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.